The old house stood alone at the end of Harlow Road, enclosed by towering oak trees. Their branches, like skeletal fingers, scraped against its dilapidated walls. The paint peeled, revealing rotting wood beneath. Windows, like vacant eyes, stared out blindly. Silence hung heavy, broken only by the wind whistling through the eaves. It was a place of shadows and secrets, a place where the past refused to die. Generations had passed since anyone had called it home. The townsfolk spoke in hushed tones about the house, sharing tales of ghostly apparitions and unexplained noises that echoed through the night. Children dared each other to approach its front gate, but none ever ventured too close. The house seemed to breathe, its very presence a reminder of forgotten times and lost souls. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the scent of decay. Cobwebs draped the corners like tattered curtains, and the floorboards creaked under the weight of memories. Each room held a story, whispered by the walls that had witnessed countless lives. The grand staircase, once a symbol of elegance, now stood as a testament to the relentless march of time, its steps worn and splintered. In the parlour, an old piano sat silently, its keys yellowed and cracked. It had not played a tune in decades, yet it seemed to hold on to the echoes of melodies long forgotten. The fireplace, cold and empty, bore the scars of countless fires that had once warmed the hearts of its inhabitants. Outside, the garden had become a wild tangle of overgrown weeds and thorny bushes. The once vibrant flowers had long since withered, leaving behind a landscape of desolation. The old house on Harlow Road was more than just a building. It was a relic of a bygone era, a place where the past lingered, refusing to be forgotten.
Emily and David were ecstatic. Their first home, a fixer-upper full of potential. They dismissed the realtor's uneasy glances, ignored the whispers of local townsfolk. This house held promise, a fresh start. They reveled in the echoes of history. Unaware of the darkness lurking within, their dream home was about to become a nightmare.
The first night, Emily woke with a start. A whisper, soft and chilling, coming from the hallway. David slept soundly beside her. She dismissed it as the creaking of an old house, but the whispers persisted, growing louder, more insistent, accompanied by footsteps in the attic above. Emily couldn't shake the feeling. Someone or something was watching them. Days turned into weeks. The whispers continued. Unseen eyes followed their every move. Shadows danced at the edge of their vision. Objects moved inexplicably. A book misplaced. A glass shattering in the dead of night. Fear, insidious and consuming, began to take root. Their dream home was transforming into a prison, haunted by something they couldn't comprehend.
The attic door was locked, a heavy padlock securing its secrets.
We need to open it. I have a bad feeling about this.
All right, but my heart is pounding.
They found the key hidden in a dusty drawer. A sense of foreboding washed over them. As they stood before the door, the whispers intensified. A cold draft seeped from beneath the crack, warning them not to proceed. The attic was dark and oppressive, filled with cobwebs and the musty odour of decay. Every corner seemed to hold a secret, every shadow a whisper of the past. The air was thick with dust, making it hard to breathe, and the floorboards creaked underfoot, as if protesting our intrusion.
It's so dark in here. That smell. It's like the air hasn't moved in decades. I can barely see anything, just shadows and shapes. The light from our flashlights barely cuts through the gloom.
Look at all this dust-covered furniture. It's like stepping into another time. Each piece tells a story, forgotten and left to decay. The layers of dust are so thick you can almost see the years that have passed.
A single window cast an eerie glow, revealing strange symbols etched into the wooden floorboards. The light seemed almost supernatural, highlighting the intricate designs that had been carved with great care. These symbols were unlike anything we had ever seen before, their meaning lost to time.
What are those symbols? They look ancient. I've never seen anything like them. They must have some significance, but what? Who carved them and why?
In the center of the room, a trunk. Old, iron-wrought, and secured with a heavy lock. It stood out amidst the decay, almost as if it had been placed there deliberately. The lock was rusted but still intact, guarding whatever secrets lay within.
Do you hear that? The whispers. They're coming from the trunk. It's like it's calling to us, begging to be opened. But what could be inside? And why does it feel so ominous?
The source of the whispers seemed to emanate from it. A palpable darkness pulsed within. It was as if the trunk held not just objects, but memories, emotions, and perhaps even spirits. The air around it felt charged, almost electric, and we couldn't shake the feeling that opening it would change everything. As David struggled with the trunk's lock, the shadows in the attic began to writhe.
They twisted and coalesced, taking on grotesque shapes.
Emily, paralyzed with fear, could only watch.
The whispers reached a deafening crescendo.
The air grew heavy, ice cold. The presence in the attic was awake and enraged. They had made a terrible mistake. The lock snapped open.
A rush of icy air blasted from the trunk, extinguishing their lantern.
The attic plunged into darkness.
Screams echoed through the house.
The shadows, now fully formed, descended upon them, clawing, grasping, their forms shifting and swirling. Emily and David were trapped, their screams swallowed by the shadows. Their dream home had become their tomb. Silence fell. The shadows receded, their forms dissolving into the darkness.
The only sound was the creaking of the old house. The attic door stood ajar, the lock broken.
A single ray of moonlight illuminated the dust-covered floor. 2 sets of footprints leading into the attic. None leading out. The house on Harlow Road stood silent once more, its secrets kept safe, its hunger satiated. Some houses, they say, hold on to things. Dark things, born of pain and despair. The house on Harlow Road is one such place. The attic remains locked now, untouched for years. But the shadows remain, whispering in the dead of night, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul. A chilling reminder that some doors are best left unopened. Some secrets are better left buried. The house stands as a silent sentinel, its walls soaked in the memories of those who once lived there. The creaking floorboards tell tales of sorrow, and the peeling wallpaper hides the scars of time. Every corner of the house seems to breathe with a life of its own, a life that is both eerie and captivating. The garden, once vibrant and full of life, is now a tangled mess of overgrown weeds and forgotten dreams. The windows, shattered and broken, offer a glimpse into the darkness within. It's as if the house itself is alive, feeding off the energy of those who dare to enter. The locals speak in hushed tones about the strange occurrences that have plagued the house for decades. Flickering lights, unexplained noises, and the feeling of being watched are just a few of the eerie phenomena reported by those brave enough to venture inside. The house on Harlow Road is a place where the past and present collide, where the line between reality and the supernatural is blurred. It's a place that holds on to its secrets, refusing to let go. A place where the shadows remain, waiting for the next chapter in its dark and twisted story.
And some houses are best left alone. The house on Harlow Road is one such place, a haunting reminder of the darkness that can linger long after the lights have gone out. It's a place that beckons to the curious, but warns them to stay away. For in the shadows something waits, something that should never be disturbed.